computer. Cool. Okay. So first I'm going to share my screen. I'm just going to show a presentation of how to give the perfect 60 seconds, which will be very brief. This is really not about me, this. And then each person will have the opportunity to give their 60 seconds, see how it goes, and everyone will give live feedback on their 60 seconds. So I'm gonna, let me just check that. Yeah, I knew that would happen. Okay. Let me share my screen now. There we go, share. Okay, present. So 60 seconds. The first thing is what not to include. So we don't ever want to include jargon. So nothing that's no one like a 12-year-old should be able to understand your 60 seconds. You want to keep it nice and simple, particularly online, because I have to be honest, it is harder, the online 60 seconds. It's harder to keep the attention and to keep people's focus. I have said, if any of you do this, but sometimes people apologize before their 60 seconds, it just makes you sound more nervous and really draws attention to it. So really try and avoid that. A lot of people do this and their 6 seconds goes really over and it's really unfocused, and they just talk about their Israel experience when they arrived in Israel. Nobody cares. Keep it short, succinct, and sweet, and that's better. We just don't care about any of the information. That's for the breakout rooms, it's for the one-to-ones. Okay, so the first part, you want to say your full name, you want to say that slowly, and you want to say what you do. Now, actually, what all three of you do is pretty clear anyway in its title. That's not true for everybody. But for example, when I used to network back in the day, I would never just say I was a copywriter. Firstly, not everyone understands what that is. And secondly, it's an incredibly broad term that doesn't help people really refer me business. So what I would say is, I specialize in writing website content for web pages, primarily within the property sector. That's a really clear call to action. It's really straightforward what I do. No one can question it. It says it on the tin, and it really helps people just put in their head exactly what it is I do. And I would say this every single week, so people really understood I work in the property sector. That's the sort of clients I'm looking for. Part two, I would always try and tell a story, and I would always try and tell a case study of how you've helped a client in the past. So Naomi, this is a great one for you because it's so easy for you to say, I had a client who was looking to buy a home in Tel Aviv. They wanted to move pounds and I helped save them 20% or whatever it is. And that's a really great way to show your added value and to show off your skill and expertise. So I would always try and tell a story. And then last but not least, I would always have a call to action at the end. So I would again say my name actually, just so people remember it. And then I would say, I'm looking to speak to marketing managers at property companies in Tel Aviv. That's my example. But whatever it is, for example, Victoria, I think what's hard with you is that you're quite niche. So you really want to be specific in how we can help you. So what is it that you're looking for? I think that's such a key point. It will really help you find business. And you can keep this the same every single meeting, to be honest. We always have tons of guests. If it's the same thing every time, it's not a problem. You can look to change it, but I think the story is the main thing you want to change. But part 1 and part 3, I reckon, can remain pretty much the same. Okay, that's not relevant. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. Where's my Zoom gone? Oh, I've got a new computer and it just confuses the living daylights out of me. So we're going to stop with me now and we're going to move it to everyone. So who wants to be the first victim in practicing their 60 seconds and seeing what it's like?
I could try.
Yeah, go for Aaron.
All right. Hi, I'm Aaron Cannon. I'm a doctor of acupuncture and medicine, and I'm a holistic healer and health educator. I had a patient come to me recently who was facing wrist surgery, and with my treatment and the exercises I taught him to do at home, he was able to completely heal and avoid having surgery. And I'm looking for people to refer patients to me who have injuries they want to heal or are just looking to live balanced and optimal lives with regard to their health.
Any feedback on Aaron from either Victoria or Naomi?
I realized I didn't repeat my name at the end.
I thought my feedback is that it was great. I think it was very fast and I speak quickly. So I would just try and pace it that little bit more. I think it makes you sound more confident and it makes it nice. You have a very nice speaking voice. I just think it was like very quick. So it was a bit like, whoa, okay. I would just really keep it paced out a little bit more. But I actually thought it was very good. Guys, did you have any feedback?
If there was like a case study in there, as you said before, showing how you help the client or where in their body you help them, that could be good as well if there's someone suffering from like a certain area.
And that was great. And Victoria?
Not really.
That's fine.
It sounded good.
Yeah, I thought it sounded very good. And I think the only thing perhaps I would suggest is, I wonder if there's referral partners that would help you in terms of, are there other people in the medical field who could refer you business? And are those people you could ask, because I still think that your call to action was a little bit vague. So I don't know who it
Okay.
is who could be a referral partner, but say a physiotherapist could be a good referral partner. Then say I'm looking to speak to physiotherapists in Efrat or whatever it is, who could refer me business and we could create relationships. I think having that really specific call to action makes it a lot easier to refer you business, because you're not the easiest referral. You're also quite niche. So that I think also maybe would be helpful. Does that make sense?
Does indeed.
Okay, but I thought the story was great. But yeah, probably just a bit too fast. Although that's me talking, who also speaks too quick. So there we go. Okay, Naomi, you ready to take us away?
Sure, I'll go for it. So hi everyone, my name is Naomi Feltham and I head up the Israel desk at Currencies Direct. So I'm based in London in our headquarters, and I focus on helping clients and businesses with their international money transfers. So before Corona, I was traveling to Israel really regular, on a monthly basis, and meeting with all my partners and clients on a personal level. But obviously that all came to a halt in late February when Corona hit hard. So Currencies Direct had been running since 1996, and we have 26 offices globally, including the USA. And my focus in the business is helping clients who are making aliyah, foreigners buying second homes, transferring money to friends or family. And as I'm sure most of you know, the banks can be incredibly tricky and make the process quite difficult. So we try and step in and make the process as smooth as possible. We're regulated by the same bodies as the banks and ask all the same questions for level checks of AML. So I'm looking at working with accountants, lawyers, property agents, mortgage brokers, anyone who kind of works in the immigration umbrella of clients moving money in and out of the country or buying property. We make the process really, really smooth, and we keep you updated as much as possible to ensure that none of your transactions fall through. I'm Naomi Feltham and I work for Currencies Direct.
Does anyone have feedback on Naomi's a little bit over 60 seconds?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It felt a little bit long.
Yeah, a minute and a half, I would say at least. Any feedback?
Oh, okay, all right, I'll work on that.
Any feedback, Aaron?
So for me personally, I thought it's taken me a moment to get used to the difference in our accents. And so when you introduced yourself and said what you did, I didn't actually catch it. And then it maybe it was just a little fast. And then when you started talking, then I figured it out. I thought with regard to the story about you used to come to Israel, but because of Corona that stopped, that kind of felt like what Helena might have been talking about when she said people don't really need to hear that story. Like I was thinking of myself as a possible client, and I didn't see how that information actually helped me decide whether I would want to work with you or not.
Okay.
And then a lot of it I thought was good. I heard what sounded like jargon to me, some mention of AML. I don't know what that is, but then when you talked about the people that you were looking for to make connections with, those were not just clients, those were professionals who obviously would know what AML was. So maybe I'm not the audience. But the last thing I would say is that as a person who's made Aliyah in the last year, and I'm a member of a Facebook group where people ask questions, it comes up all the time. I'm surprised how often this question comes up of what's the best way to transfer money, because it seems like there'd be kind of a pat answer, and there's not. And so like people say, oh, have you tried this person? Have you tried that person? Sometimes people ask, should I go to Western Union? What bank's the best bank? That kind of thing. So like if I were listening to you and those questions were on my mind, if you had a little story like, I had a client who tried to work with Western Union, but the fees were so high. You just mention sort of the confusion that faces me and why going with you is better than that, but in a concise way. That would help me as a potential client want to work with you.
Perfect. That's really good. Thank you.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. 100%. I think a story would be super helpful. 100%, I agree. I definitely think it was a little bit long, and I think you spent a lot of time like what's the word, like showing your credentials, in Hebrew, like it was a lot of time on that. And you can do a little bit of that, but I think a story would be powerful. It's a serious company. Anyone Googling you would know that within like 5 seconds. Like the website would say that for you. I guess
I'm using my pitch to kind of lawyers and people like that more. It's a bit too much in this situation.
Yeah, and I think also you said like a lot of people you want to be referred to, like a lot of different sectors. I'd maybe focus on two. I would say I'm looking to speak to lawyers based in Tel Aviv who work with people buying properties. Like just to have one thing, I think if you like have one thing a week that you do, or whatever, you like 1 week I'm doing lawyers, 1 week I'm doing accountants, whatever it is, I think it will just be a little bit more digestible because there were so many things. It was like overwhelming. I was like, okay, I know this, and like it was, you know what I mean? It was too much.
Okay, thank you.
So I would recommend that. This I can't speak about the accent because I have no problem understanding it, but then I'm British also, so it could be the Victoria.
I'm not telling you to speak in another accent. What I meant by that was that if it was a little slower, and I was obviously guilty of going too fast, but if it was a little slower, of course I don't have an accent, but
definitely not. But I would say that in Israel I've had that a lot, that people don't understand the British accent because they're used to American English. Like Israelis also don't understand me.
Which is strange because it seems like based on the history of this being part of the British mandate, you would think that British would be the standard English here.
No one understands me. With Israelis, they're always like, I'm like, oh, you speak English, and then I speak in English, and they're like, oh, but it's your accent that's the problem. I'm like, okay, well, we'll speak in Hebrew then, but don't tell me you speak English if you don't understand my accent. Then we speak. It happens every day. But yeah, is that helpful now?
Yeah, that's really good. Thank you.
I'm Victoria. Oh, I'm excited to hear.
Okay. Hi, I'm Victoria Feinerman, and I'm a professional voice talent in American English. This means that I record voiceovers for promotional videos, product videos, commercials, tutorials, fundraising videos, mobile apps, and telephone systems. A good voiceover will convey the image you want for your company, product, or project. I've helped numerous companies such as SodaStream, Baby First, Checkpoint, Bezic, and more. My specialty is voiceovers for high-tech topics, and since I have a background in high-tech and I'm very familiar with the jargon, so I'm a perfect fit for that. I have a top-quality professional home studio and almost 20 years of experience. I'm happy to work with anyone who requires voiceover, whether they be video producers, businesses, or individuals. I'm Victoria Feinerman, voice talent.
Well, your voice is beautiful. It really does.
Thank you.
Every time. Perfect pacing, of course. Any feedback for Victoria?
Well, first of all, I want to say, aside from your voice obviously being good at doing voice talent, I hadn't really realized this before without having the comparison, but your microphone is so much better than what I'm used to. And I have crappy little earbuds, but I can really hear a difference in clarity. And I think that you being in your booth is a super great promo too. Like the fact that you're in your recording booth and it looks like a professional booth convinces me like this person is serious. So I like that. The only feedback that I have, especially because you're presenting yourself as voice talent, is there were a couple times where you said and that doesn't matter a lot of the time. But I'm imagining you recording for me, and obviously yeah, so, and obviously you wouldn't do that, but I think because that's what you're selling, really polishing it to the point where that never happens would probably be good.
I thought it was great. I thought it was really good. I really liked the name drop of those big companies. I thought that was fantastic. I liked you were specific about high tech. I would still like to hear more who I can refer you to, like who in a high-tech company is going to hire you? Is it the market? I don't know that. Is it the marketing manager? Is it HR? Like, who would be looking to hire you? I think is still really important. I also think, like you said, what voiceover does. I don't think you need to say that. I think, like, if someone doesn't know what voiceover, the importance of it, they're not going to refer your business anyway. Like that, like they should know that. We should all know that voiceover is important. Like I would hope that every member knows that, or I'd be worried about people in general. So I think that you can scrap off it, and I would focus more on who exactly would hire you in high tech, which I think is I'm not so clear on. I assume like agencies as well would hire you. I don't know. And I think a story would still be really nice if, like, I worked with SodaStream. They needed a quick turnover for an advert they were producing for like an audience of, you know, whatever it is. I still think that story would be really nice. I thought, but you know, you really are a pleasure to listen to. So whatever you say, it's going to be engaging. But because you've got our attention, you can really like play with that and make it so powerful. So I do think a story, and I do think just saying, this person in the high tech field would be helpful, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
But yeah, but I thought it was really, really good. Really, really
Thanks.
wish I went to elocution when I was a kid, but it didn't really work. But we tried, but I never quite got that beautiful singing voice. Does anyone have any more questions? So you're very welcome to reach out to me if you want to like go over it privately and redo it with me, and we can have a sit down once you've like been to this session. You're welcome to just sit down with me and we can go over it privately for 15-20 minutes. It's absolutely no problem. Just drop me an email and we'll get something booked in the diary for early next week. And if you have any questions, as always, I'm here. This will be recorded as well, and I'll put it onto the member portal on the website. So if you want to re-listen to what you said, absolutely no problem. It'll be there. I'll do that today. I'll do that straight away. I'll put it onto the website as well.
Thank you.
Okay, excellent.
pleasure.
Thanks.
Brilliant, thank you.
Thanks so much and have a great day, everyone. And I hope a good weekend. Most of us.
All right.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.